The reason you procrastinate and don't do the things that you know you should be doing is because you're too distracted. Now, what do I mean by this? The task or thing that you need to get done is something that you don't enjoy. If you did enjoy it, you wouldn't have struggles doing it. Since you don't enjoy it, it doesn't give your brain dopamine. Like, for example, if you know you need to hit the gym and you're not doing it, it's because there's something else in your life that gives you more dopamine than the gym. Seems like dopamine is the root of all of our problems, and it is in a lot of cases. Our brains are always searching for dopamine releasing activities and avoiding the boring activities that don't release dopamine. When you're bored, your brain is not releasing any dopamine, and you probably get anxious, and you probably get stressed, and it's just not a good feeling. That's why it's so easy every time you get the slightest amount of boredom to go on your phone and start scrolling on social media, because it gives you a slight dopamine hit. But anyways, you're procrastinating because the things that you know you should be doing do not give your brain dopamine. And you don't have the discipline yet to do those activities despite not getting a dopamine release. So going back to the working out example, it's much easier for you to stay at home, watch Netflix, maybe order a pizza or something, than it is to go to the gym. Watching Netflix and eating pizza is going to release a lot of dopamine in your brain, and you did not have to work for that at all. Type in whatever show you want to watch, order fucking Domino's, and it was that simple. Whereas if it was working out, you'd have to go drive to the gym, smash a workout, put yourself through adversity, then get the dopamine release, something you actually earned. Because in the moment when you're actually working out, that's not going to release dopamine. The dopamine release from working out comes after you've earned it, after you've went through the hard shit. You aren't willing to delay the amount of time it takes to get a dopamine release. Like, you are so used to getting the dopamine release on demand and not working for it that it makes the desire to work and do something extra pretty much zero. Have you noticed that the more and more you procrastinate over a long period of time, it becomes harder and harder to be disciplined? I used to be the worst procrastinator when I would play video games all the time. My brain would get really stimulated and release a lot of dopamine every time I was playing video games, and it made me not want to do other things that I know I should be doing at the time, like studying, working, going to the gym, preparing my meals. I would put all the important stuff off for as long as I could because they did not give my brain dopamine. That's why a lot of college students just party all the time and wait till the last minute to start studying, or wait till the last minute to get their assignments in. It's because they're partying all the time, and that's giving their brain dopamine. When studying and doing homework is obviously not fun, not going to give you dopamine. So now you understand why you're procrastinating. How do you actually fix it? Well, I'm going to be honest with you and tell you it's not going to be easy, but it is definitely doable. And it is pretty much exactly what you would think you would need to do. Really just deprive yourself of any extremely stimulating activities that are holding you back. The things that you would rather do than work. If you're really bad at procrastinating and you've been doing it for a really long time, then it's probably going to be in your best interest to do a full dopamine detox, which is a grueling process, let me tell you. It's going to be hard, but it needs to be done. Fortunately for me, I didn't have to do a full dopamine detox. Almost I did, but I didn't quite. Over time, I just eliminated the things that were holding me back and replaced them with things that were going to get me closer and closer to my goals. The main thing I had to do was delete Call of Duty off my PC and give my controllers to my brother, so I wasn't tempted to play. I couldn't just sell my PC because I use it for my work and a lot of other things. But if you're struggling with procrastination because you're playing video games all the time and you have a console, then you need to sell your console. I promise you, you're gonna be happy you did. Like, there were times when I stopped playing video games and I gave all my controllers to my brother, and the people I used to play video games with would hit me up, tell me to get on. And, at the time, like when I first made this shift, I was like, oh man, I really want to get on and play with them. It was so much fun. I didn't want to get another controller, so it just made it very easy for me to say no, really. Whereas if I had my controllers and all of my equipment and everything, then I can guarantee that I probably would have caved in a few times. So if there's multiple things that are holding you back and making you procrastinate, then what you need to do is eliminate one thing at a time and replace it with something that's going to get you closer and closer to your goals. If you try to eliminate them all at once, you are going to lose your shit. I can promise you that. Once you eliminate one shitty habit, like a procrastination thing, replace it with something that's going to be beneficial to you. You can certainly try to eliminate everything at once, but it is going to be extremely difficult. And if you're able to succeed at that on your first attempt, then props to you. You are better than me. So the elimination method that I found that works the best is not just to eliminate the toxic activity, but to replace it with something. Replace it with a disciplinary activity, an activity that you need to work for a dopamine release. Again, another great example is working out. In the Netflix example, like, if you're new to working out, then just get to the gym a few times a week doing 30 to 45 minutes. Just doing cardio. That should be enough just to start building that habit. Like, let's say you get home after work one day, you're exhausted, but instead of watching Netflix, ordering a pizza or something, you go to the gym. Again, don't just go to the gym and start spending 2+ hours a day there, because you're gonna get burnt out really quick and just fall back into your old ways. And it's not going to be sustainable because it's way too drastic of a change. So start with 30 to 45 minutes a couple times a week and slowly build that up. And it doesn't even have to be the gym. The gym is a great example because a lot of people are slacking on that, but it can be whatever activity that you know you need to get done. Like, if it's a project at work, instead of waiting for the last minute to get it done, start working on it right away, but do it in increments. Maybe the first day it gets assigned or something, spend like 30 to 45 minutes on it, or as long as you can. Just chip away at it in increments. I know for a fact that helped me a lot. And after every session, after every working session where you complete some work, it should give your brain a slight dopamine release, a slight sense of accomplishment, that is. And over time, you're going to slowly and slowly increase the amount of time you're working in one sitting. It's really just like progressive overloading in the gym. Just slowly and slowly start building up and doing more. Eventually, it'll get to the point where you've rewired your brain to enjoy doing those activities, the activities that you used to procrastinate on. It certainly did for me. I hated going to the gym at first. One of the biggest reasons I hated it, like working out was fine, but one of the biggest reasons I hated it was just because it took time away from video games. It sounds stupid, but it was so true. I would miss a bunch of workouts. I would skip meals. I would not prep my meals. I would just be lazy because I was always playing video games. But now 5 to 6 years later, I've rewired my brain to absolutely love working out, love preparing my meals, love eating healthy. Now I have no temptations to go play video games or watch Netflix or do any of that stuff. Not that it took me 5 to 6 years to do it. It probably only took me about 1 to 2 years to do it, but it was so worth it. So the goal of the detox or the elimination method that I just talked about is to get used to not giving in to instant dopamine releases. Get used to working for your dopamine releases. Because at the end of the day, the reason you're procrastinating is because you're always chasing instant pleasure instead of working for it. So if you apply the things I told you in this video, the elimination method or a full dopamine detox, then I promise you'll be able to defeat your procrastination. I sure as hell didn't invent the dopamine detox or this elimination method, so I'm not taking any credit for it. I'm just saying this stuff works. And I want you to think how much better your life will get once you defeat your procrastination. Once you start getting the things done that you know you need to get done as soon as possible. How much less stress and anxiety would you have? Probably a lot. I know from my experience, my mind felt much clearer and freer once I did this. So again, it may not be the easiest thing in the world, but I know you can do it, and I can guarantee you that it's going to be worth it. And your life will significantly change for the better.